My name is Brett. I work for Johnson Controls, one of the fire alarm technicians here at Oak Ridge. Going to be showing you a bit of a part 2 for TSW training. This is meant for maintenance and operations. Some of the stuff we're going to go over is responding to alarms as they happen, brief descriptions on how two-stage systems work and your involvement with them, meeting the fire department and various response points for this mall, and going over all the different graphic screens available here for you guys. If you've seen the part 1 video, there are certain things that have been removed that are fire department only, such as smoke control, things like that, are not going to be on this TSW. You're going to see all the devices laid out just for a response. This is your main screen here. You can see the mall, 41st Avenue, Academy, and buttons here to pick from P3, P2, P1, P0 alarm devices, and this is for parkade. For the mall, excuse me. So as a disclaimer, there will be times, this is a system that's currently being worked on, where I'm gonna have to go through and acknowledge troubles that come in just to stop the beeping so that you guys can hear me and we can get through the training without the beeping constantly. So apologies for that. Yeah, so parkade side, we got P3, P2, P1, and P0. And on the mall side, we've got parkade P2. This is for like elevator vestibules, mixing chambers. Mall parkade P1, mall level 1, mall level 2 north, mall level 2 south, mall level 2 mezzanine, mall level 3, and mall level 4. If we go and click on any of these, we'll start on the parkade side. On P3, it takes us to a broad overview of the entire parkade. So we got all these different compartments, different labels for each compartment, compartment 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If we click on any of these individual compartments or on any of the areas, it will take us to those compartments. And we can use the same tools as before in video 1, zoom window, pan window to navigate through. Where if I zoom window over an area, I can get in and see what is going on. If I want to go back, I can go whole window, take me to the compartment. I can change compartments to compartment 2, 3, 4, and 5. If I want to change levels, there's buttons here as well to do that. That's just basics on navigating through parkade side. And this is with no alarms. If there was an alarm that would happen, it would take you directly to wherever that alarm will be. And we'll show you an example of that later with the pull station just down the corridor. So mall side, I'll go back to main side map. And you can see when I pick the parkade mall floor plans, I've got these small areas, I'll zoom in for you, that are, like this is mixing chamber. So they're mall components because they attach to the mall, but they're separated from the parkade. And again, I can just keep going up. So mall level P1 takes me to this area where you can see the transit concourse and all the different CRUs, up to mall level 1, where you get the whole mall layout. And again, if you want to move in, I like using the zoom window because you can pick where you want to go and just go back to whole window when you want to go back. And for buttons, navigation buttons, this pretty much takes you through all the parkade and mall devices. We do have a symbol legend as well, so if you're not sure what the symbols are on each icon, S, smoke detector, D, duct detector, there's a legend here that will tell you what they correlate to as well. So that's basic layout for graphics. If you see, there are other selections here on the top. We'll start with alarm lists, where This is where you're going to have any active fire devices that are happening right now, any supervisories, which I'm on currently for this is sprinkler tampers or various other supervisory signals that may be active in the system. And then troubles, which are the system troubles, like the ones that I keep acknowledging. And then moving on from alarm lists, we got status and control. This is going to list off every single point in the entire TSW system. You can use this to search individual devices by clicking on this little filter icon here. Brings you a drop-down menu. You can search for descriptions or addresses. This would mainly be used for either service or maintenance to locate specific devices based off of address. And then we keep going over. We got the graphic screen, which we had gone over. And we've got now these reports and historical logs. So historical logs are kept on the TSW, and it logs everything from every single trouble, supervisory, alarm that has happened since the last time this has been updated. So if service or somebody comes in to work on these, it's recommended to back up the historical log so that there's proof of whatever has happened and that you don't lose it. Because you will lose it if somebody comes in and updates it, you haven't backed it up, it's going to be gone. And we'll go over how to do that in a little bit here after we go over the help section. So next we have control windows. And in control windows, this is going to be bypasses. So we're going to add some bypasses as the project gets further along that make it easier for maintenance and operations to isolate specific areas in the mall. So currently we have bypasses in this drop-down menu for each node in this system. So if I pick node 6, we've got signal bypass, elevator bypass, fan bypass, damper bypass, water flow bypass, city bypass, door bypass. And we leave them all on while we're here so that nothing happens that we don't want to, since there's people working on it. But in a normal functioning world, this would all be set to off. And if somebody were to come in and either need to do work or testing, and you don't want to have evacuations, or you don't want to recall elevators or release the doors, this is where you would turn on these specific bypasses to stop that from happening. With the bypasses as well, so there's a trouble that comes in with each bypass. I can show you here just by changing one off and turning it back on. We do get a trouble point on the system for the bypass. So you have something bypassed. So you won't be able to walk away with a trouble-free system and have it being bypassed. So every bypass does leave a trouble on the system. Moving on to the help section. So this one is excellent. I use it a lot because there's a lot to do with TSWs, but it basically gives you a how-to for all the different things that you can do inside here. So if you forget, or even if you want to learn a little bit more, some of these features we don't use commonly, but they are here. So like, for example, if I go to the historical log, this is where it's going to tell me how to back up the historical log, changing different volumes, which, the volumes are almost like a record that's kept for each historical log. I recommend just keeping one volume and just backing it up every single time. You can do it daily, weekly, monthly, whatever you guys want to do. And it will tell you exactly how to back up each one through instructions. So to delete a volume, export a volume, to back up a volume. So in the historical log, volume operations dialog, select a label. With the volume highlighted, click on backup. Backup dialog box appears. Provide the file name, click on backup. It's backup. Now, if we want to go ahead and do this, we follow those same instructions. We go to the historical log, we go to volume operation, select a log, we go backup, select where we want to backup, and hit save, and it will back up that historical log. And again, you can keep these on file just to keep a record of whatever's been happening on the fire alarm system. You could have issues where maybe some devices are going bad, or there's an area that could have been flooded, or who knows, right? And it keeps a record even for replacement, and to help people come in here and troubleshoot or fix things that may have been gone wrong. So yeah, I'm moving on to the network. So on the network tab, we've got a topology button here where you can see the full ring of all the nodes that are connected. And we've got an attendance tab, which will show you each specific node that is talking. We did have an issue with node 1. It's currently being worked on to get that fixed back up and running. But you can see everything else is online and talking. And the topology ring, we've got a full class A loop, and we've removed node 1 from that loop and just spliced the fibers through. Now, if there was an issue in this network, you'd have trouble show up for sure on the trouble counter. But in this network tab, you would see a break in this loop. It would be a single line, and you could identify where that break may have happened, because it's going to be between two panels, which can help identify where the issue might have come from. Or maybe a card might have failed, and this gets you to troubleshoot that easier. Now, in here, you do have the ability to exit. You should never exit the TSW. It should always be running. It's a life safety system, so constantly running 24/7. If by chance you may, by mistakenly, hit exit, I'm going to show you the steps to take to make sure that you get it back up and running in case that happens. So I'm going to hit exit. I'm going to close it down. No more TSW. Down at the bottom, you see this little icon, kind of looks like a little schoolhouse and a computer by it. Same one here. You're going to double click on that icon or the one below. It takes a little bit to boot up and power up and stabilize itself, but it will prompt you to log in to a specific login. We can provide all the information in writing, but just verbally, I'll tell you the login name and the password to get in. So the name would be the digit 5, and the password is operator5 with a capital O. You hit OK. Now, this may take a bit to actually fully load up. And during that time, might as well talk about the two-stage system in itself. When you have a two-stage system, it's a false alarm reduction system. So if there's a single alarm that could potentially be a false alarm, somebody is witnessing that event, acknowledging that event, and then responding to that event. So during that process, you're stopping the system from going into an evacuation with a single alarm. Fire department is still coming. They're going to respond. But with that initial alarm, as soon as you acknowledge that alarm and have it come back, as soon as you acknowledge that alarm and respond to the alarm to make sure that it's a false alarm, no evacuation is going to happen, and it stops the audio so that people in the mall stay in the mall. If a secondary alarm should come in, and you are on your way to go investigate this individual alarm, it'll immediately go into evacuation. 2 alarms cancels the 2-stage system. And again, then you should follow your evacuation procedures and get out of the mall. So going over the responding to the fire department, there are different compartments in the parkade, and the mall is also separated out into different response areas. It's quite a large spot. So we have all this stuff we can provide in writing for where the response points are. But there are essentially 2 response points for the parkade currently. We will be adding another one in for the phase 2 of this construction. There's one on the 688 West 41st Avenue side, and then one down on 6001 Campy Street. Those are parkade responses. In the mall, we've got 3 different response points. We've got 658 West 41st Street, 5998 Cornelia Muse, and 5935 Campy Street for 3 different sites of the mall that the fire department will be responding to. So out in the field, we've got relays that will operate in many different ways. There's elevator recall, where a smoke detector gets set off in a lobby. The elevator will home to a specific floor. We've got fans that will shut down. And this is in the event of an alarm, and even on a cold smoke exhaust, once the fire department comes in here, we can exhaust the smoke out, and we're using relays to change those fans. We've got door release, where we'll release doors or lock doors in some situations, not here though, using relays. And we've got mutes as well for all the CRU musics. So the CRU music shutdown, so that when there is an alarm that happens, we turn off all the music in the CRUs, and people can hear the alarms and get out. We've got a device that's an individual addressable module. So these devices are used to monitor many different things, such as sprinkler tampers, sprinkler flow devices, such as this one, which was just came in. And you'll see them all over the place in tamper rooms or in sprinkler rooms, where there'll be tampers on a wall, and then our fire alarm devices mounted on there too. And we can use them for many different things. We've got fire suppression points up in the food hall. Same thing, we've got halon panels that we're wired into, where all they do is just short our device and we get the alarm point. We've got smoke detectors everywhere. And these smoke detectors come with a couple things. They're auto sensing for the air quality around them. And they need a smoke obscuration level of 2.5% to go into alarm. So they are false alarm reductive. However, if they get dirty, they will give a trouble on the panel saying that the smoke detector head is dirty or excessively dirty. And all that is doing is telling you that it's lost its ability to auto-sense the area around it. So if you do get a dirty head trouble or an excessively dirty head trouble, it 100% needs to be replaced. And service does need to get called in to retest that to prove that it will smell smoke and make alarms. We got heat detectors as well. These are much more straightforward than the smoke detectors. They just get set off at either a rate of rise, temperature difference, or fixed temp, which we have some fixed temps located in more outdoor locations. We've got our 2-stage pull stations that get activated with the latch and the key. And then combo devices such as smoke and heats. And I think those are actually in the elevator shafts. We've got some beam detectors, and these are Located in the food hall area, they will give you trouble signals if they've been blocked, so they can tell the difference between, they try to tell the difference as best as they can between what's just blocking them and what is actually smoke. And yeah, so just briefly going over some of the more common devices that you're going to see here, with a little bit of descriptions for each of them. If there's work being done, say maintenance is replacing T-bar, or something could be happening where you need to be concerned about having false alarms happen, and you don't need to bypass an entire area of the mall, you just need to bypass a section. We can do things like disable devices from this TSW. So if I go to, let's go mall level 1, and I'm just gonna go zoom window. I'm gonna pick this front lobby area. Say something was happening in this spot and you know this is the only location where work is being done. You can pick any of these smoke detectors and hit disable. Immediately you'll get a trouble signal telling you what smoke detector you've disabled. On that graphic screen, you can see that smoke detector is now yellow. So you can pick the next one, disable that as well. You can disable the whole area so that the work that gets done will not make alarms. If the work's done, end of day, contractors are gone or T-bar's up, you go back to the areas where you've disabled these and you enable them, you'll get a countdown. If this device is going to go into an alarm, it will tell you this point will alarm. Can't stop contractors. So it will warn you that it will go into alarm, so that way you don't re-enable something and immediately just evacuate your mall. Not ideal. And you can see this is just telling me point will be enabled in 59 seconds. I'll just enable it immediately, and immediately it goes green. Next one, I'll just enable them all here. And you can do that with any of the initiating devices. It could be a pull station, whatever that you might be concerned about with creating a false alarm. And it does keep a trouble in there, so you will see it in the trouble log that it has been disabled. And it's more meant for just like small patchwork situations. Or even if there was a device, say a device was showing as a dirty smoke detector, you may want to preemptively make the decision to disable that, so that way it doesn't go into alarm in a false way. Your service can come replace the smoke detector head, test it, and then have it be normal again. I'll leave that up to you guys to make those kind of decisions. But just different ways that you can use disable, even in a nuisance situation. Or actually, I've seen, so if a pull station, say somebody, actually I might have gone over this in the first video, if somebody pulls this pull station and then smacks a shopping cart into it, knocks it off the wall, you may not be able to reset this alarm. If you disable an alarm, you will be able to reset the system. So this pull station could be an alarm. You hit disable, it'll go yellow, and then you will be able to reset the system. And I can show you an example of that when we get to how to activate a two-stage key from the two-stage pull station. Just a brief explanation for the different kind of states that our devices can be showing you. So smoke detectors will actually tell you the smoke obscuration that it's currently sensing and the sensitivity that they're set at. If I go to a tamper device, you can see this primary status is normal, and this is for a tamper valve, zone 5, in this room on the first floor. There is a tamper here, which I'll use as an example, that is shut. So it's an abnormal primary status, meaning that that device has shorted our monitor point. And you can see that difference from each of these menus for each device. Heat detectors have temperature, And all that information is available for each device in its own window. So yeah, from here, I think we could go show you guys what it looks like to activate a pull station and respond to a pull station that has been pulled, and what you guys would do if there was an actual fire and you need to initiate an evacuation, or if there is no fire and you just need to reset the pull station with the fire department and have them be on their way. Okay, so I have activated a pull station to show you guys what it may look like. And this could be a real event, could be a prankster pulling a pull station on his way back to his car. But this system would auto zoom to wherever the alarms come from. And if you click on this, it's going to tell you where it is with the description, the address that's in the system for it. As soon as you acknowledge this flashing button here, you're now stopping a 5-minute timer that is built in, sorry guys, with two-stage systems. That is another redundancy in case nobody's here. So if nobody's here to witness this alarm, to click on it, acknowledge it, and then start responding to where that is, within 5 minutes, it'll automatically go into evacuation and everybody will be evacuated out of the mall. If it's acknowledged in that 5-minute window from first alarm, then you stop that timer and you're the person who's now responsible to go to the point and confirm whether it's an actual alarm or a false alarm. Again, two-stage systems are a false alarm reduction system. So at this point, you'd see a pull station got pulled. You would then either zoom out and navigate your way to where this is, which was just down the corridor from where we are, and then go witness the alarm and see if there's actually an issue, if there's smoke or anything like that, and another detector's not going off, whatever the situation may be. There is a two-stage key, which I'll show you how to operate, and it automatically puts the system into a second stage evacuation. And again, if you're on your way out to do this and another alarm happens, maybe somebody pulled the pull station because they smelt smoke, and then a smoke detector actually went off, and you're on your way out, you start hearing alarms happen because 2 alarms came in, I'd evacuate because there's an actual fire happening. And the fire department can take it from there. So yeah, we can go move forward to show you guys what it's like to reset the pull stations and activate the two-stage with the key. Okay, so we've responded to the pull station where somebody has pulled this, and we found there are no fires anywhere, there's no smoke. Now, if we were to come here and find smoke, either you can smell it or actually see smoke, you can immediately enable evacuation with a two-stage key. There's a secondary key on the inside. You just have to slide this in and twist it till you hear a click. You can then remove it. At this point, everything would be in evacuation. Like say this has been pulled and somebody left because they passed by a burning can of garbage. And you come back down here and that fire has not gotten big enough to set off a secondary device, but you see that, that smoke or that garbage can that's on fire, you would then want to activate evacuation to evacuate them all. So when it's real, when it's not a false alarm, you would use this key to evacuate the people from the mall. Any other device would make the same situation happen. So even if you haven't gotten to here and you see that there's smoke billowing into the hallway, pull a pull station. If you don't hear alarms, just get out of the building. But again, the two-stage key is only intended to be used when you want to evacuate the mall. Again, the point is that somebody could pull this, somebody can then investigate to find out whether it was a false alarm or real, and you're not evacuating them all on the pretense of a false alarm. To reset the pull station, all that you need to do is insert a B key, which we will provide these keys. Open it up and it self-resets. Now, resetting these, again, fire department would show up first with you guys. They'd come clear the area, make sure everything's good. When they say it's all good, that's when you would reset these pull stations. You wouldn't just go around resetting before they show up. They are priority one to make sure that everything is safe. I'll go show you guys the main fire alarm panel and a little bit about how to navigate through its menus. Okay, so we are back from checking the pull station, and we've returned everything to normal. The fire department has showed up, cleared the situation, and the pull station has been reset. It was a false alarm. Now we need to reset the fire alarm system, and the fire department will then be on their way. So using these top buttons here, I've clicked on fire. You can see the one pull station. Its status is now normal, which means it can be reset. I hit system reset. And you wait for the system to reset the pull station. So it's cleared. We have no more fires, nothing here. It will be in the historical log that that fire had happened. Again, why I recommend either daily, weekly, whatever you guys want to do to keep historical logs backed up, just for proof. In this video, we're just going to go over some brief explanations for things that may be signs of degradation with the fire alarm system, alarms that are nuisance alarms, different situations you guys might get into, and some of my opinions on what you may want to do in those situations. So I'll start with just a brief description of the different kind of loops that are on these panels. We've got, like I was showing before, the Class A network loop, where a single break still has all communications. If you have two breaks, now you've got two split loops. The same thing is done with all the devices that are in the field. So if there's smoke detectors going out to a level, they are being fed off of a Class A isolator loop with a Class B spur that goes out to pick up that field loop. All of these loops are interconnected through the network from panel to panel. So we've got main panels that are out there, like it's 4100 ES panels, and then the TSW and the incident commanders that are located at the different response points. If a power outage were to happen at the mall, you'd have generators kick on, and if there's alarms that happen during that time, no change to the building, same operation as normal. Alarms will be alarms. They will activate the bells. Our systems are on battery backup and generator power. So the generators would have to lose all their fuel, and then the batteries would have to drain in order for your fire alarm system to actually be dead. Now, if we've got troubles on the system and you're working, my recommendation is basically any trouble that shows up would have to be called for service to come in and look at them. The only trouble that I could recommend going to investigate would be a head missing trouble out of a smoke detector. There's potential that maybe somebody bumped a smoke detector, and if the head is still on there and all you need to do is tighten it, that's the only thing that I think you guys could actually go out and do. Pretty much everything else, if there's a trouble on the panel, you need to call for service and have JCI come in and fix it for you guys and retest it if it takes swapping. Yeah, so signs of degradation, this is going to take a long time to happen, but you could see fiber optic cables, maybe the connectors are starting to get worn out. And in this network tab, maybe you notice troubles going that nodes are missing. Maybe some of the fiber optic connections may be getting old, and you'll see this loop break. Or in the attendance section, you'll see some of these panels have X's through them, like we have with node 1 right now. Those are definite signs that the networking between panels could be getting degraded. As well, each panel could have parts. Years are going to go by where maybe power supplies might be failing. You'll get troubles flash in and out. Whether it's a battery disconnection or whatever might be coming. But again, Troubles will happen here. They'll be recorded in the historical log, and any troubles should be called for service so that JCI can come fix it. Nuisance alarms. This could happen in specific areas. Maybe there's a lot of dust that's happening, or high traffic areas where there's a lot of dust that gets kicked up. Who knows? There's not much we can do to stop that. If there's a specific device, say a smoke detector that has a dirty head trouble that keeps going into alarm, you could disable it and call for service to get them to replace it. And if it's something that is out of the ordinary for nuisance alarms, like if there's a reason for the nuisance alarm, it is what it is. If it's abnormal, like nobody's there and this thing is going off all the time, 100% call for service, get it replaced, because there would be something wrong with that device. Contractor triggered alarms. So in these situations, from what I've seen in my experience, a contractor should communicate with operations about any work that they need to do. You would then use the fire alarm system to disable devices in the areas where they're working. If there's an alarm that happens outside of the area that is planned for work, respond to it as it is a normal alarm. Don't think that it's just the contractors. Fire department will be coming. You need to respond to those areas as if it was real. Yeah, so I got another note here for alarms during generator transfer. Again, absolutely no change to the function of our fire alarm system. During power outages, generator transfers, even on battery power, our systems are tested and made to last through all those different situations. We do a 24-hour on battery backup test and then 2 hours in alarm. That's on full just battery power only. So alarm reoccurring after reset. This is another one where maybe there's an alarm that you can't clear in the system, or you're trying to get it to clear and you can't. Again, you can use the disable feature, disable the device, and then reset the system, call for service, say we have a faulty device, they'll come in and change it and retest it for you. Yeah, so after going over that, we can show you as well what one of these 4100 ES panels looks like I went over with the different types of panels that are out there in the field, and how to navigate through some of its menus. Okay, so this is one of the 4100 ES panels located all over the mall. All of the fire alarm devices come back to these main panels through a network of fiber optic cables. And what you're seeing in the TSWs is a graphic representation of that layout. Every panel, you can actually look up devices similar to with the TSW. It's just a lot more difficult, and I heavily recommend using the TSW. That's what it's there for, to do what you need to do rather than use these panels. But I will include some instructions on how to look up specific things briefly in here. All the operations manuals that come with these panels will have all these instructions, so I'll go over briefly what some helpful tools could be. If you know there's a device, say it came up on the TSW as node 12, address M1-111, which is an address that we give to the devices, you can look that up here by pressing IDNet, which gives you an M, 1-111, and hit enter, and it will show you that it's a P3 corridor smoke detector. It's currently in its normal state. Again, if you had issues with that device, maybe it had a dirty head or the head was missing, it would show you that here, like you saw at the TSW. You can disable these devices, however, you have to be logged in to do that. So if I try to disable these right now, it's going to tell me insufficient access level. So you need to log in to actually make any changes. I'll show you how to do that. So we got menu, which brings you to this main menu. First option you see is change access level. So if I hit enter, it'll tell you the current access level, which is 1, and 1 to log in, 2 to log out. So 1 to log in, entering passcode 333. Access granted. Now you see the current access level is 3. You can enable and disable devices now. So I'm going to go back to that same device, M1-111, and I'm going to hit disable. And I'm going to press enter, and it's taken the action. You see disable trouble. It's given me a new trouble, just like at the TSW, that this smoke detector has been disabled. If you're at the TSW, you'd see this trouble come in, and you'd see it turn yellow, just like the other ones. Again, I would heavily recommend using the TSW for all these. It's just that you can do that here. I'm going to re-enable that same detector. And this is one of the things that these panels don't do, but the TSW does, is that 60-second countdown. In the TSW, you had the ability to enable immediately, which is nice. When you've got 15 smoke detectors in a hallway and you've disabled them all for maintenance, when I hit enable here and hit enter, you have to wait 60 seconds, every single one of them, and there's no immediate enable. So if this was going to alarm, it would tell you here, the point will alarm in 60 seconds. Do you wish to abort? Hit disable if you wish to abort. Again, we'll just wait the remainder seconds, and I can go over just some of the layouts that you see here. Again, the response for fires in this building are meant for the incident commanders and the TSWs to respond to the events that happen. So do not use these panels to get to where you need to go to get information. There's better equipment that we've provided for you to get to where you need to go. However, we do have some stuff here where you can see the bypasses labeled, and we can turn them on and off. You have to be logged in at level 3 to do anything. Again, though it's only this node, you can see enable completed for that one device. We're back to normal. So we're only at one node location. If I want to turn on or off bypasses in multiple different areas, it's just really difficult from one location. You'd have to walk everywhere. So the TSW really, really is good for turning on and off bypasses and anything you need to do. Now, if you've logged in, again, change access level. We're in level 3. Maybe we've enabled the device and we didn't want to go back to the TSW and it was a single event, whatever it may be. It will automatically log out after a certain amount of time. However, I recommend just pressing number 2 to reduce the access to level 1 so that you don't by mistakenly do something. By leaving it in level 3, you could walk away and maybe press a bypass and turn it on or off and not have the intention. So just always be in control of what access level you're leaving the panel in. And it will auto timeout, like I said. But yeah, if alarms happen, again, they're going to be only isolated to this node. Troubles that happen, they're only going to be isolated to this node. And supervisories that happen, only isolated to this node. This is one little small part in the big network that is the Oak Ridge fire alarm system. Yeah, so concluding some basic operation here. I'm going to take you guys over to the CACF and just show you again how to do a page from your CCTV room, CACF, and some manual evacuation buttons as well that we've provided. Okay, so we are at a CACF for your CCTV room, located just down the hallway. Here, the intention is to provide you guys paging for different levels. Just like in the first video, we've got different selections. You got Parkade, your level 0 through 3, your mall, level 1 up to level 4, and then a page all Parkade, page all mall, your transit concourse, northeast office, and a building 12, as well as room to add more later as towers go on. It's much more simpler than the paging setup for the fire department. But again, intention is just to give you guys the ability to page to the mall or to the Parkade if it's needed. And just like in the first video, if you could refer how to page with those instructions. Okay, one more feature that we have strips for here at the CCTV CACF is manual evacuation. Should the event happen where you want to manually evacuate, we give you the option to. So we got manual evacuation for Parkade, mall, and building 12 office. Another thing I want to mention about the remote command center up here, the purpose for the TSW is to give you guys the ability to monitor and respond to your fire alarm system. Do not use this to reset, to silence. Don't try to. In order to reset, it gives you instructions that you need to have a key inserted. To acknowledge, to press any of these buttons, alarm silence, system reset. Again, you will be using your TSW in the CCTV room, not any of these remote command centers for anything that happens in the mall. I just wanted to emphasize that one point. Yeah, so this concludes your training for operations in the fire alarm system at Oak Ridge. Thank you very much.